You wake up at 6 a.m. You check your phone. You complain that the world feels chaotic and unpredictable. But the real answer is far stranger. Because 66 million years ago, your ancestors woke up every single day into a world where the odds of survival were close to zero. And they were not dinosaurs. They were small. They were furry. They were about the size of a mouse. Imagine being born then, not as a human, as a tiny mammal hiding in the undergrowth of a Cretaceous forest. The first thing you would notice is the heat. The air is thick. The plants are enormous. Ferns tower over your head. Somewhere in the distance, the ground shakes. Not from an earthquake, from footsteps. You are not the top of the food chain. You are not even close. You are prey to almost everything around you. A dragonfly the size of a seagull buzzes past your face. You freeze. This was the world of the Mesozoic. For over 170 million years, dinosaurs ruled nearly every ecosystem on Earth. Mammals existed the entire time, but they stayed small. They stayed hidden. They came out mostly at night. Why? Because the daytime belonged to the dinosaurs. Paleontologist Steve Brusatte has spent decades studying this exact window of time, and his research paints a clear picture. Early mammals were shaped almost entirely by fear. Every trait you associate with being human today, your sharp hearing, your ability to see in dim light, your instinct to freeze before you fight, all of it was built in the shadow of animals that could kill you in a single bite. Picture your daily life as one of these creatures. You wake at dusk, you forage quickly, you listen constantly. A snapped twig means something is near. You do not know what. You do not wait to find out. Every meal is a risk. Every open space is a gamble. You have maybe a few years to live, if you are lucky. Most of your relatives do not make it that long. Now picture the sky changing. On a single afternoon, roughly 66 million years ago, an asteroid nearly 10 kilometers wide struck what is now the coast of Mexico. Physicist Luis Alvarez and his son, geologist Walter Alvarez, were the first to prove this happened, using a layer of rare metal found in rock all over the planet. The impact released more energy than billions of nuclear bombs detonated at once. If you were alive that day, you would not have understood what was happening. The sky would have turned white, then orange, then black. Not from night, from debris blocking the sun. Wildfires swept across entire continents. Temperatures dropped. Photosynthesis nearly stopped. And the giants that had ruled the planet for so long, the ones you had spent your entire life hiding from, began to disappear. This is the part of the story most people never think about. It was not a quick death. For the dinosaurs, food chains collapsed slowly over months and years. Plants died first, then the animals that ate plants, then the animals that ate those animals. But you, small and fast and hidden, had one advantage they did not. You could survive on almost nothing. Insects, seeds, scraps. You did not need a forest of ferns to feed you. You needed a crack in a rock to hide you. Here is the twist almost nobody talks about. The extinction of the dinosaurs was not really an ending. It was an opening. Biologist Jerzy Luo has studied the fossil record from this exact transition, and his research shows something remarkable. Within just a few 100,000 years, a blink of an eye in geological time, mammals exploded into forms and sizes that had never existed before. The niches once held by dinosaurs did not stay empty for long. Ask yourself something. What would you have done in that first spring after the skies cleared? You would have stepped into daylight for the first time in your life. Not because you had become brave, because there was finally nothing left to be afraid of. This is where your story actually begins. Not with courage, with absence. The predators that shaped every one of your instincts were simply gone. And the traits that helped you survive the darkness, caution, adaptability, a willingness to eat almost anything, became the exact traits that let your descendants spread into every environment left behind. Over the next 10 million years, mammals grew larger. They grew more varied. Some climbed trees, some grew claws for digging. A few, much later, grew something else entirely. Bigger brains, better memory, the beginnings of a species that would eventually build cities, write language, and ask questions about where it came from. You. Every fear response wired into your brain today traces back to this exact chapter. The reason you flinch at sudden movement. The reason silence in the dark feels different than silence in daylight. The reason your body reacts before your mind even understands what it saw. None of that started with humans. It started with a small frightened creature hiding from something enormous, tens of millions of years before humans existed at all. Here is the strange part. If the asteroid had missed Earth by even a few seconds of arc, it might have landed in deep ocean water instead of shallow coastal rock. Some researchers believe the outcome could have been completely different. Dinosaurs might have persisted. Mammals might have stayed small forever, permanently locked into the shadows. You would not be reading this. You would not exist at all. So when you wake up tomorrow and check your phone and the world feels chaotic and unpredictable, remember what your ancestors actually survived. Not traffic, not deadlines, an asteroid, a burning sky, and 170 million years of hiding from something bigger than themselves. You are not descended from the strongest creatures of that world. You are descended from the ones who knew exactly when to stay still and exactly when to run. That instinct never left you. It just changed shape.